What's up guys, Nightingale here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about leaky pipes. Is that a drip I just felt on my face? Or is this stove accidentally messing up? And John Ty 7 hours ago posted on Reddit this clip from the French. Bonjour. That's about as far as I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's it. That's about as far as I can go with French. I don't know what it says other than 4-5, and I know they write their dates improperly to us here in America. But that is May the 4th be with you is when we're supposed to be getting this rerun. So, Rimuru and Malim are coming back to Epic 7. Now, what does this mean for us? It means a rerun and probably boring content for those of us who've already been here. But for everybody, for the last year and a half, I've been dragging along telling you, someday your time will come. Here you go. Now in a minute I'll cover the units just in case for those of you who do live under a rock, we'll talk about them. I'm gonna quickly mention who I think is gonna be returning. So, or not returning, but potentially running with them. So we got two factors here. One, there's a potential new season coming up, so if they're gonna want to promote a new character, potentially we could see that. But most likely, since Slime just had a movie featuring Benimaru, chances are we're gonna get Flame Bro. Do we need another burn unit? No. That can be said with literally every other unit in the game. Do we really need it? No. But chances are it's gonna be him. Now that breaks my heart because I am team Shion through and through. I don't care. I want her because it's the least one that's brought around. Her in the King of Monsters game was a lot of fun to play, and it was really the only time I've really had a chance to play Shion. Now I know she was in the Isekai Memories game, didn't get in deep enough to be able to get her unlocked, but I saw some stuff. It looked cool, but for experience of actually getting to play with her in the King of Monsters C version of the Slime game, she was cool. Benimaru, I've played in a couple different versions. I've played him in the King of Monsters, the Slime one, in the 7 Deadly Sins rerun. There's a lot of things where we've played as Benimaru, and I see him show up a lot in other collabs, which is also why I don't typically go pull Slime in a lot of stuff now. It's because it's kind of everywhere, and I'm kind of tired of Rimuru and Malim and Benimaru. But Shion's kind of different, so I'm hoping for her. Now, there's another big fan favorite, but I'm sorry, I'm putting my foot down right now. You're not allowed to bring Veldora without a Kamehameha. I'm sorry. It just can't happen. Please, no. No. Please. Stop pushing Veldora. It's not like they're going to be able to do it. If they've got the balls to do it, then yes, absolutely. It needs to be here. And I will 100% support you in Veldora being the new limited unit, if we do get one. Because that would be so awesome to blast everybody off the face of the planet with Veldora doing Kamehameha. It's the coolest scene. Spoilers of Veldora. Google the scene if you haven't seen it. It's amazing. Either one. It's freaking amazing. If you do the English voice, you get to hear Mr. Satan say Kamehameha, by the way. It's great. So, I know there's a big fan base out there for Diablo as well. He's cool. But honestly, most likely, I'm feeling like this is totally going to be Benimaru because of the movie, and I'm 90% sure they're not going to do Diablo, and they're not going to do Veldora, because, let's be real, they're going to ruin Veldora if they don't do literally his manga moves. It's literally Veldora. Also, let's be real, it's Veldora. Now, maybe they got the cojones to do it. It'd be awesome. And we'll rave all about it. So, with that being said, let's go jump over to my account, and we are going to talk about the actual units we know for sure are running, which is Malim and Rimuru. Yes, keep in mind, I'm saying Malim. Malim. It's not Milim, it's Malim. She says it in the show. It's Malim. But I can't tell you how many times I hear people say Milim, and I'm like, ah, okay. So, what I have set up here is my stream version, so hooray. Welcome to the stream overlay for Epic 7. Alright. So let's go talk about what everybody wants to see, which is this bro right here. I'm gonna be real, I've never used him. Other than maybe that first week, where I was testing around a super meme build with super high HP, Proof of Valor, back before that was really a thing. Yeah, no, I don't like Rimuru. I'm sorry, I'm just that person. I think he's boring. I don't like his kit. I don't like anything about him whatsoever. He's lame. That being said, we're gonna be real here. He's got some very broken mechanics. But we're also going to teach you how to counter them very quickly, because there are going to be a lot of you who are now going to have to learn how to deal with Rimuru. So, Rimuru. Rimuru. Let's talk about his S3. Attacks the enemy with Black Flame, and with a successful attack, inflicts 5,000 additional fixed damage to the target. Fixed damage increased proportional to the number of buffs granted to all allies, up to a maximum of 10,000 fixed damage. When the target is buffed, it decreases defense of all allies for 2 turns, unaffected by elemental disadvantage. All this means is he will not miss. I've had to have this argument several times on stream with people because they took this for Luna's passive, which is elemental advantage. All this allows him to do is that he will always connect with a fire unit. That's all it means. It's not that he will, it doesn't mean that he will have advantage and be able to have the increased stat bonus of the chance to hit and things like that. It's not that. So, I want to talk about this skill because this is what honestly is the worst part and the best part about him. Talking about this for a year and a half with the community that has had to deal with Rimuru, most of us are under the consensus the amount of buffs that's required for him to get the 10,000 fixed damage is BS. It's 4 buffs. Or it's 2 buffs on everybody. And he has full 10, so it's 8 total buffs. And he's able to hit the 10k fixed damage. This is probably the part where most people are going to agree or disagree. Guess what? I don't care about your opinions. They're fine. Cool. Keep them to yourself. I really don't care. At this point in time, I'm just letting you know this is what the general senses of us had talked about. We felt like the fixed damage needed to be a little bit lower in the initial tick, and more buffs able to get up to the 10k fixed damage. That would have balanced him out a lot more to allow this to feel more... It would feel better because you can achieve a lot of buffs. It's very easy to get 4 buffs per unit out there, to where at that point, if it was, say, 4 buffs for every unit on the field would get him up to the 10k, it was more worth the 10k fixed damage. Now, why is this a big deal? Is because there's a lot of units out there. This skips their one-shot mechanic. That cannot be one-shot mechanics. He completely nulls and voids them out completely. Because with this, with 8 buffs in total, he can get a decent DPS build and he can one-shot a unit through its mechanic almost every time, which devalues a lot of some of these ML5s. It devalued Tensura, Celine. I'm trying to think who else popped up here recently with the cannot be one-shot mechanic. But it devalues those mechanics by this thing. And the fixed damage thing's been creeping around a little bit more. And then you be careful with this because this was really the game changer which started setting fixed damage into the super broken, I can just one-shot a unit. Because he doesn't need a ton of damage to be able to blast a 15,000 HP unit. I've had one Rimuru pop my Ruel at 19,000 HP. I was floored and I applauded and I was like, that was amazing. I was extremely mad, but extremely proud that they were able to hit 19k with it. I deserved the loss. It was great. But this is the part of Rimuru's kit. Alright, now he's got another annoying thing. This one will take you a minute to get used to depending on where you're at in your gameplay. After attacking with a non-basic skill, the S1 is what they're saying. After attacking with a non-basic skill, the S2 or S3, copies 2 buffs when the target is buffed, regardless whether the attack hits, and grants the effects to all allies. So it's pretty cool. You can rip some buffs. This is great for Arya buffs. When she pops up her counter and you've got a Rimuru and you're like, thank you for the counter to my entire team for the next 2 turns. You're so smart. It's great. It's so much fun for that aspect. This effect is not applied when to undispellable buffs, so you cannot copy the Vigor buff or things like that. When an ally is attacked by a buffed enemy, activates Be Ready against the attacker. So if you have a buff, you need to watch out for this. And this can be activated once every 3 turns. Be Ready is quickly approaches the enemy attacks, increasing combat readiness of the caster by 30%. And of course his S1 is generating a random buff. Now, here's the thing. Rimuru is probably going to be the one thing everybody's going to go get because of his 10,000 fixed damage. So there is that, and let's go ahead while we are here and talk about his artifact, which is Anti-Magic Mask. At the start of the turn, has a 50% chance to grant a random buff to the caster, and that is immunity, increased attack, increased defense, critical hit damage, and speed. This is probably not what you see most Rimurus running. It's mostly Portrait of Savior. I've mostly seen Portrait of Savior and Proof of Valor. Has been the most common ones. I've seen a Sigurd Scythe one recently, which was very weird. I've seen some Merciless Gluttons. I've seen Draco Plate, because they're trying to get up that damage. The Draco Plate ones are normally the glass cannon ones that are trying to get you to trip the skill. He hits with an S3 and it blows a unit completely sky high. I've had a Draco Plate actually nearly kill my Crow through other stuff where he's been hit and he basically finishes him off. It's been crazy. So Anti-Magic Mask, probably not something you're going to want to super chase after, but if you're wanting to be a one and done kind of person, this can eventually be bottled up. Don't go chasing after it. It's not that great of an artifact. Now, let's go talk about Malim. Now, Malim, to me, is the better of the 2 units. I'm sorry, don't at me. But yes, I believe Malim is technically the better of the 2 units, especially with the power of friendship around. With the power of friendship, Malim is now your best freaking friend. Why do I say that? Because of her S3. Releases mana to attack the enemy, inflicting extinction when the enemy is defeated, increased evasion of the caster for 3 turns. When the enemy is not an elite or boss monster, damage sharing effects are ignored. So, yeah, that protected Mercedes dies instantly. And she's a book holder, she can hold this, and ta-da, yeah. Now, moving on, that, this got changed. I swear this was not like this originally, but it was her kit from the beginning. There was something about this that I remember going, I think this is what got changed, stealth nerfed-wise. But no, you read it and it was always the same, but this was one of the things I was calculating some of the damage to be better on, and it wasn't. At the start of the battle and at the end of the turn, has a 100% chance to grant Dragon Eye, Malim's Eye, to the caster for 1 turn. When the caster is granted Dragon's Eye, at the start of the turn, dispels stealth from all enemies and ignores effect resistance. So, all those stealth units that Arya pops up, yeah, they're completely useless. Guiding Light, completely useless. This is why I've always told you guys don't worry about Guiding Light Landies. This exists for a reason, and I've been killing Guiding Light Landies since the day I had Malim. Let's be real. Actually, it did take me a while to build her because I was very furious because her damage was not what the damage calculator said it was going to be. It was not one-shotting the characters that we were scoring it off of for the week prior. And then when focus is full after attacking, consumes all focus to activate. I mean, Dragon Buster. Dragon Buster is attacks all enemies, overwhelming mana, removes 10 souls. Yeah, it's a cool skill. And then attacks the enemy, recovering health proportional to the damage dealt before increasing the attack of the caster. Yeah, increasing attack of the caster for 1 turn, and then you grant the extra turn with her soul burn. Yes, I always want to punch every Meru under the face of the sun. I soul burn, even though I know I don't have to, but I want the attack buff. If I'm not pushing her on her own, I will S1, S2, S1, S3 every single time on a Mercedes to make sure she goes into the ground and never comes back up with the power of friendship. Or RB or anything else that I want to use this for. Malim got a lot more use out of me, obviously, because you can tell she is actually still geared and not sitting with a bunch of garbage gear on her. I use Malim maybe 3 times a week, depending on what shows up. pretty much whenever there's a Landy or a bunch of fire, I'll pop her in. As you can tell, I don't really have a ton of like crazy gear on her. 1,100, actually almost 1,200 defense for a mage, not too shabby. 10,000 health was just like anything we could do to get A HP, and then it was just damage, just pure damage for the counter build. It worked, it's fine. There's two schools of thought, this one or the super fast speed build. I chose this one, it worked out, and it's done whatever I need, because 99% of the time, there's another unit that's in front of this that's pushing her forward, so I don't really care about going first with it, because I will just push it up anyway, and I get to have the ability of, which has saved my butt countless times, especially when it's water and it crits, and I'm like, so yeah, Malim is to me the better of the two units, but Rimuru technically is the better unit for the general sense of he'll skip a straight cannot be one shot mechanic. All right, that's really the thing. The fixed damage is something to consider, and remember now, basically it is this, or this with Malim. There is no other artifact. I have seen people use her artifact, but it is dog crap. I'm actually expecting upgraded Dragon Knuckles to be buffed. When the caster suffers a non-critical hit, has a 15% chance to counterattack. I really hope this gets buffed, because this is not enough, and I think it's only 30%. I don't even think it's maybe 20%. Actually, there's one way to find out. Let's go check it out real quick. The reason why I say this is crap is because 99% of the time she gets crit. The evasion buff is never comes into play. So don't count on it. You're better off running souls. Yes, it's basically counter set if you don't crit. So you got the chance to not get crit. First off, it's gonna be hard, and then on top of that, you're praying that the 30% chance actually lands. So there's way too much RNG in this. Now, I know somebody who did max this out, and they're like, yeah, it's really great. And I'm like, yeah, when it's not getting crit. But let's be real. Most of the time, it's going to crit. So that's as far as it goes for the two units. Now, I told you I was going to talk about a couple things here. And that's one, because I know people are about to deal with it, and here you go. As for Rimuru, and because he's about to be everywhere, let me introduce you to your Lord and Savior, Crow. Build him well enough, and you're never going to worry about a Rimuru ever again. Because if it's a Proof of Valor Rimuru with high bulk, he's not going to do a ton of damage. It'll do the 10k, it'll do at max the 10k fixed damage. At max the 10k fixed damage. And then, because those things are normally high HP, low defense, Krau's just going to hit him for straight HP. Or it's the damage version, which is going to nearly kill him, and then you've got a free one-shot on A, any unit you want, or B, you're just going to go ahead and rip him a new one, because, let's be real, let's get him off the field. Now, that only really works with AI. When it comes to a smart player, they're probably going to ignore the crap out of this because they don't want to get him one shot. Because they realize trying to hit this Crow is going to be a death sentence. So, in that case, as long as it's considered with Guild Wars or your arena thing, Crow is your BFF for this. He will automatically target the ice unit over any other unit on the field, outside of what his passive trips. So his S3 is guaranteed to go to Crow. Can't tell you how many times this is won over. Now that comes down to protect Rimuru, or is Rimuru protecting somebody else? If they typically go in to protect Rimuru, that means they're probably going to try to go to, they're going to want maybe double grass in the team, so they might try to drop Senya in it, so that you have some other threat, or just anything else, really, Alencia, you name it. Anything grass, violet, whatever. They're probably going to put that in there as well to protect around that. But if they go the other way, if they're trying to protect against fire coming in, they might try to put a fire unit with it. So like Mercedes is a common one. I see a decent bit I see a Ran, Rimuru, and Mercedes Guild War defense. That's pretty easy to beat. Dark Corvus it and it's over and done with. Just being real. most of the time I'll sack Crow just for the intention of that unless Rimuru does get him low enough, then I will take the 1-2 punch, and I will I'll S3 Rimuru, and then I will S3 Dark Corvus to Mercedes, and the fight's over with, and it's gone. But yes, this is probably going to be the best case scenario for you all, and I think that you all are going to see a rise of Crows on your, if you're going to use Rimuru on defense anywhere, you'll see a bunch of Crows, because he's the best bait unit for it. Do not take this unit whatsoever, because it will A, pop it, and B, you don't want it to copy the counter buff. You do not want it to copy it. Do not give it anything he can copy. I've seen some people tank it with a very tanky Amomo. I do not have a very tanky Amomo. Other than that, I do not ice bait at all with him. I make sure, because I have had this happen many a times where it's blown up my shoe. So it's Crow or bust with Rimuru for me, because it's the tankiest thing I know I can get him to hit. So for those of you who are going to be pulling, you've got basically a month from today-ish to start saving up. I hope you all are ready. For me, it's going to be a complete and total skip. I could do this right now. I could triple S her if I wanted. I won't do anything with Rimuru. I don't like him. I don't like his kit. I don't like his playstyle. I don't like anything about him other than his character in the anime. He's freaking amazing in the anime. He is a humble little slime, and I love him for that, but when it comes to the Epic 7 and Rimuru, absolutely not. I think this is probably one of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse that needs to be changed and balanced around. Now, that does also bring me, when we talk about balance, comes to this sad piece of crap right here, which is Shuna. Again, in the anime, she's probably one of the most broken characters in the darn show. Not gonna mention spoilers, but go watch the anime. It's freaking amazing. And boy, did they absolutely screw her over. So I hope that this Friday, when we get balance notes, Shuna is in there and everything about her is getting an overhaul. I mean, gut the entire kit and start over. This thing is dog crap bad. She's free, that's the difference. So yeah, you get a free triple S 6-star hero, but there's nothing about this kit that's even remotely. It's cool, it's unique for stuff, but it just didn't work. It just did not work. There's nothing about this that actually made sense. Her healing ability was weird. The dispel buffs was cool. The equate health was bizarre. The dispels buffs and sleeps. It's just, this thing's all over the map. And it's not Shuna. If you go look at the show, this is not her. So I'm really hoping they do something here for her. And maybe we'll see, something. But basically, just wait till you have all 5 copies and then 6-star her. Don't worry about building her. She's not worth it. Save your resources, throw it somewhere else. Trust me. With all the simps that have tried to build her over the last year and a half, none have succeeded in truly getting her to work, and it just, the more and more it goes, she needs a buff, and hopefully they can fix her. I don't trust them for it. I'll be real. I don't think they can do it without a full kit rewrite. Change her whole thing over. Maybe they can prove me wrong. And if that's the case, Friday, if they do it, I'll tell you if they prove me wrong. But for right now, I don't expect anything from this. So, Slime's coming. Finally. Year and a half later. At least it's something. At least it's a leak. Sure would have been great to talk about that today in the update notice, which I have to go upload here as soon as I'm done with this. I didn't have internet, and yeah, it sucked. I lost internet, and it's yay. But if you guys have any questions about Slime, feel free to hit me up in the comments below. I'm always around trying to be better at this. It's been very busy, so I'm trying to do my best. But yeah, y'all enjoy, take care, and we'll see you Friday in the balance notice. Yeah, Friday. See you in the next one.